All right, let's move on to this story. Parts of the country are currently in the grips of an intense heat wave, and it will get worse. The South African Weather Service says the mercury could rise to nearly 40 degrees in KZN, while Pretoria will see temperatures as high as 36 degrees. With rolling power cuts continuing, how are businesses and individuals coping? Well, let's cross live to senior reporter Silindelo Masikane, who's following the story, and she joins us now live for more. Slee, between you and I'm tired of not being able to sleep in the evening because I'm sweating because of this heat wave. What's the latest? Are we still expected to endure more days of this?
Well, I know South Africans seem to be under the impression that we're still in what's been declared a heat wave. However, the SA Weather Services, who I spoke to earlier on, says that in fact the country isn't in a heat wave anymore, and that the notice ended around the 18th of January, and that there's certain conditions that need to be met in order for a declaration of a heat wave. The SA Weather Services is saying that yes, the country, in particular provinces like the Northern Cape, Gauteng, as well as KZN, are experiencing very high temperatures, but the conditions at this point are not that of a heat wave. It's simply just very hot. Let's take a listen.
Says the public and everyone in South Africa at large, we still feel the heat, and we still can kind of relate with the heat wave conditions even now. But at the moment, most of the areas, or all of the areas that were affected, do not currently meet the heat wave threshold conditions. So just to clarify a bit more on that, we first have to understand the definition of what a heat wave is, and by definition, a heat wave is when a particular station in an area gets its maximum temperature exceeding the average of the hottest band by at least 5 degrees Celsius or more for 3 consecutive days. And even though, for example, in Gauteng we've been feeling the heat, I believe yesterday some parts of Pretoria reached about 32 or 33 degrees Celsius, but for the threshold to be met, it has to reach 34 and above for 3 consecutive days.
That's interesting, Slee. Maybe it also has to do with the fact that we haven't been getting any rain in a couple of days, but government has expressed some concern anyway.
Certainly so. A statement has been released by the GCIS, and government is urging South Africans in particular to, just be cautious, stay out of the heat, stay hydrated. You would remember that at this point in the Northern Cape, in a certain region, in the farming regions, at least 8 people have died due to the high weather conditions. So South Africans are being urged by government to ensure that they are at least, in the very least, staying hydrated and just monitoring themselves in terms of these high conditions. Let's take a listen.
We have to be climate savvy as a nation. We're really going through all sorts of changes in our weather patterns, and obviously we're a hot country, so hot in many ways, of course. But the weather has really taken a steep rise in temperatures, and obviously we have to go about our daily business. We have to go to meetings. We have to go to farming work. We have to go out and move from place to place. And that really exposes us to a lot of high temperatures, to fatigue, if you don't take the right precautions, to sun exposure. And we all know that there are many, diseases associated with that, for example, in later life. And our young viewers, for example, it's quite sad that people of, our age group now are starting to see the misfortune of not protecting themselves from the sun 20 or 30 years ago. So there's a whole range of things here.
And Slee, we've got many problems in South Africa. We also have load shedding. So you spoke to some locals. How are they keeping cool?
Well, I think like you, everyone at this point is trying to keep cool the best they can. And, many South Africans are telling me, the ways in which they're trying to stay cool. Let's just take a listen to what they had to say. It's been so hot the past couple of days. How are you handling the heat?
Yeah, it definitely has been warm. So lots of water, lots of ice, cool watermelon, and the little one obviously splashing in a lot of water and swimming pool for the win for sure.
Oh, well, I'm out here with my boy and having ice cream. That's how we're keeping cool.
Yeah.
I'm staying indoors and some ice cream. That's it.
Well, Slee, I'm trying to keep cool with some water. I've actually finished a second bottle so far. Anyway, Silindelo Masikane live for us in Johannesburg on the apparent heat wave.